Good morning. Court is now in session. Thank you all for coming. If you have a cell phone, please turn it off. You want to ask Mr. Dan Muno if he can lead us in a morning prayer, and also
Dear Lord, let us pray. On this occasion of our June Carroll County Quorum Court meeting, we beseech Thee to bless and guide the deliberations of those of us who are elected to represent the people of our county, so that we may have productive discussions of the important issues we face and make sound decisions for the betterment of our county and all of its citizens. In Your name we pray. Amen. Pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Ms. Jimmy, would you do the roll call, please?
Yes, sir. Ronnie Blackburn. Jack Deaton. Ronald Blake.
Here.
Chris Graham.
Here.
John Harrington.
Here.
John McNeely.
Here.
Joe Mills.
Here.
Dan Muma.
Here.
John Reed.
Here.
Lamont Ritchie.
Here.
Larry Spocker.
Here.
Nine present, two absent. Next item of business is disposition of journal proceedings, approval of previous minutes, any additions or corrections. Your motion to approve.
I'll move we approve as changed from the one submitted last with the package. Jamie has redone it and given us all a new copy.
Ron made a move to approve.
Second.
Lamont second, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Next item of business is public comments. Do we have any public comments? Time of 3 minutes, time limit on it. Yes, ma'am. Come on up, please.
At the beginning of the year, Quaker Liquor was told that we could be open for business on Sundays. We were open February 5th and 14 following Sundays after that. On May 16th, we were told by ABC that Carroll County had a law that stipulated Eureka Springs was the only city in the county that could be open on Sundays. The city of Eureka voted that in as far as I can tell. Quaker Liquor is outside city limits. Quaker Liquor was keeping a monthly increasing average of $14,000 a month from going to Missouri. It was the best day that we had. If it continues to be without Sunday sales, we will be among the statistics of an independent owner lost due to the economy. Let our community decide, put it on the ballot, and let us vote. Thank you for your time.
Could we get your name, please?
Tracy Marshall.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Who was it that said that you...
Bill Cruz from the Arkansas Beverage Commission. We talked to him January, and probably about 4 weeks, we got a hold of the Green Forest Sheriff's Department, the city attorneys there, and everybody said that we were outside city limits. So ABC said that we were allowed to be open. We were open 15 weeks. And then the same gentleman, Bill Cruz, came in and told us that we had to shut down.
Ron?
Could we ask Devin? I think, Devin, are you back there?
I don't know anything about
I know. Could we ask you to check that out and find out what it is and what our position is in it, what we can do?
Now, whether the county has a stipulation or a law restricting Sunday sales of liquor.
Right. Well, a lot of it was, outside city limits, inside city limits.
Right.
And that whole thing. So even the Green Forest couldn't do anything for it just because we were outside city limits.
Right.
So they said that Carroll County had a law stipulating that Eureka was the only city in the
Well,
county.
let's let Devin research it for us.
I tried to find out, and it was just too much. But I knew it had to be here to start to get on the ballot.
I don't think any of us know anything about it, so if Devin can check it and give us a report next month.
Can we have your name and phone number where we could contact you if we needed to?
Sure. Tracy Marshall, and it's 870-437-2553.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
website kind of gives a background of who ACT is, how long we've been here. Pretty much update information from the last time we were up here, because like Madison County I did last year, we had notices go out, and I said, y'all hate to see me show up because notices are going out. But for the taxpayer standpoint, the good thing is values are going down some. Well, the way the cycle is, it seems like we never keep up with which, if it's going up or down, we never with it because we're like a 3-year cycle behind it. The Assessment Coordination Division comes up with the ag rate prices, which would be row crops, pasture land, and timber. The crop land went up 12% this year, pasture rates went up 2%, and timber rates went down 4%. And if you go to the Assessment Coordination Division website, they have a crop, pasture land, and timber valuation information sheet, and it's rather thick, but if you go in and find the Ozark region, it'll actually tell you how they arrived at the prices being increased for the crop and the timber going down, which it's, well, since timber prices kind of crashed after the building glut went down, well, they're just now, this is the first year timber has gone down since all that price change went on. And then this year we're adding $28,434,133 worth of appraised value, which is the full value of new construction in the county this year. And yesterday afternoon I ran a ratio study, and by state law, the 18 to 22% of market value, which amounts to 90% of market to 110% of market. We tried to be conservative with times still hadn't got very good, so right now we're at 93.34% of market based on our studies. And then if you take the total value change from last year to this year, it's going down 3.75%. And that's after adding 28 million new construction. So the 3.75% decrease this year, if we hadn't had new construction, it would have been a little over a 5% decrease. Notices will be mailed out. They're going through mail service, and I know that they will be out by the 16th of July. I'm not sure if they're going to mail them the Friday or the Monday. I'm not real sure when they're going to do that. The girl that handles that hadn't got back with me exactly what date they're going, but the state law, they have to be out by Monday the 16th. So they will be postmarked before Monday the 16th. They close the business. Anybody have any kind of questions?
Larry?
On that first part, when you were talking about pasture land and timber, would you give us the numbers again?
Okay, the cropland, which really the only cropland we have is orchards. It went up 12% over the previous cycle, which was 3 years ago. Pasture rates went up 2%, and timber rates went down 4%.
Okay. Now, that's Arkansas?
Right.
Is that Carroll County?
The Assessment Coordination Department figures these prices every year for whatever counties are going out on reappraisal cycles. So it was a formula that they arrived at in the legislature, and all they do is plug in the new information each cycle to come up with what the new rates are. Like I say, if you go to the Assessment Coordination website, you can get about that much printout, and there's about 5 pages in there that pertain to the Ozark region. The rest of it is just background on how they arrived at the formula and all that.
John?
I kind of followed the cropland, pasture land, but then you got onto appraised property?
Oh, the full value of appraised property that we added this year?
Yeah.
Is that what we're talking? Okay. We added the appraised value, which is the full value of the property added for tax purposes. We're adding $28,434,133. After adding that much new construction, property values are still going down 3.75%.
That's statewide, but
Yeah.
from an independent,
It's our county. Our county added $28.4 million in new construction Since the last time. That includes
Since
chicken
last
houses.
year.
Since last year.
That's just new construction added this year.
But that includes farm construction, chicken houses.
Right.
Residential.
Any
everything.
value, well, if it went from agri pricing to a subdivision, that difference in the increase in the value is considered new construction also.
Okay, so that's just the land value increase.
Well, it'd be land and building total.
And
of
building
28.
went on there.
What I was trying to understand is what is the impact on individual property owners, not the land, but
Well, the total county went down 3.75%.
In value.
Yeah.
Okay.
Total value from the value on the county books last year is going down 3.75%.
That doesn't automatically mean that everybody's value on their particular house went down.
No, there's too many that are
That's an average for the
frozen.
county.
so that's
Like anybody
an
65 or
individual
older
thing.
frozen, it doesn't change.
And the notices that are going out are all went to people that their taxes are increasing.
Which would be about 5,000
5,000 notices.
out of the 28,000 parcels.
John, does that mean our revenue's going down 3.75?
It'll, yeah.
Well, not necessarily, because there's so many of them that are frozen, like all the retired people in Holiday Island, their taxes won't change no matter if property values go up or down unless they go down below what they were frozen at back in '03.
So overall, the effect is not, it's going to be less than that. But it's, it's something you're going to have to pick a number somewhere and say, let's go with that number and be closer, but it'll be less than that. Because
Eventually, on this next cycle, eventually there will be no growth to mount in.
You said pick a number, what's your guess?
You can't guess because we have to go individually and do every property and see who's frozen and who's not.
Okay, well,
It won't go down, if it's at 3.74, I don't think it's going to go below 3.
okay, well, I was just saying you could probably pick a number better than we could pick.
Yeah. I think 3 is
Well,
close.
in 1st of August, the assessor does an abstract. So that abstract, compared to last year's abstract, you can tell. Because it gives a breakdown of what the full value and what's the taxable value. And the taxable takes into account of all the frozen properties.
Joanne, are we looking at revenue for next year being impacted, 2013?
Yes.
Okay.
If there
Chris,
is,
did you have
Yeah.
anything?
So this needs to be factored in when the budget committee starts meeting in terms of...
right. And as of August 1st, we will have a good idea, and that's the budget that the school uses. The abstract that we do August 1st is the one that the school system uses, so it's pretty close to where we'll be.
Okay.
And with Amendment 79, there are so many people that when they're frozen back in '03, or not frozen, they'll be locked in at '03 and they only had a 5% increase per year. Back in 7, 8, and 9, when everything was still going good, you were paying here, but you were appraised here. Now they're coming up 5% per year. We're lowering it a little bit here, so they're getting closer to being at full 20% of assessment.
Very good. Dan?
Yeah.
Okay, y'all are worried about the money.
Yeah.
We never appropriate, or do I assume that we're going to appropriate 100% of what's appraised anyway? So the figure I will bring to you will still be, worry about it.
Too
I believe
much
it's Dan's
information.
turn. Dan.
All Dan has left to say is, yes, what everyone said. He said, well, the budget committee will take all this into consideration, working with Joanne and Cindy as that time approaches in mid-August.
Anyone else? Thank you, Dennis.
You're very welcome.
Next item is old business. I don't remember if we have any.
No, sir.
So we'll move on to new business. Under A, appropriation, would you read that, Ms. James, please?
Be it enacted by the Quorum Court of Carroll County, Arkansas, an ordinance to be entitled, an ordinance amending ordinance 91-8, which amended ordinance 90-35, whereas ordinance number 90-35 established the Mondale Heights Estate Subordinate Service District, and ordinance number 91-8 thereafter amended ordinance 90-35. Whereas the Commissioners have requested to increase the annual cost of services to be provided by the district from $12,500 to $100,000, and to increase the per lot assessment from $50 to $100. And whereas the Commissioners notified the lot owners and held a vote with the proposed amendments approved by said vote. Now therefore, being enacted by the Quorum Court of Carroll County, Arkansas, ordinance number 91-8 is hereby amended as follows. Section 1. The annual cost of services to be provided by the Mundell Heights Estates Subordinate Service District is increased from $12,500 to $100,000. Section 2. The per lot assessment described in ordinance number 91-8, section 6, paragraph A, is increased from $50 to $100. Section 3. These amendments will go into effect January 1, 2013.
Move to approve.
Then move to adopt. Joe second. Any discussion?
Yes, sir. This is a result, and I thank Debbie for her help on this very much, because this was a learning process for me. Just very quickly, background on this is the commissioners from the Mundell Heights Estates SSD approached me in February with the request to go ahead and make this amendment so they could have the county, which is an SSD. I think my district's the only one that has an SSDs in it. But it's by law, and it's a subordinate service district where the county actually collects the taxes and sets it aside for the use of people in those neighborhoods, those SSDs, to do certain things, among which in this case is their water system and their road. They haven't changed this since they were first incorporated. It was amended by 91-8. They've got some significant issues with their water system that they anticipate they're going to have to do over the next couple of years, to address in the next couple of years. Plus, they've got some road issues that the county is helping them with, but in terms of providing manpower, and in some cases material, but they also have some work they want to do out there that is over and above what the county itself can afford to do. So these increases allow that to happen. The process that this would normally take, it takes 3 readings. We're introducing it today, and then we'll seek public comment, so the people, anybody who has an interest in it can voice either support or opposition to it. And then what I hope to do, and this is per guidance that Devin gave us, is that next Quorum Court meeting, we'll have this on the table again for its second and third readings. At the same time, we'll seek any kind of public comment. And barring any unforeseen roadblocks, then we pass this into law, which then allows us during our appropriation, as I understand it, when we pass the tax levy appropriation in November, that puts this on the tax rolls, and then it takes effect in January. Did I get that right?
Correct.
Ron? Will this increase to 100 provide the $100,000 per 100 per lot? Provide the $100,000?
No, what they do, as I understand it, is they're limited to only have $12,500 quote unquote in the bank at any one time. That does not give them enough money. And again, I don't understand all the ins and outs of this. It's been a learning process, but it gives them the headroom so that they can accumulate more than $12,500, so that at the time that they go to fix their water system, in this case, they have the money to do it. And rather than go to $15,000 or $25,000, the commissioners just said, let's go to $100,000, so that 20 years down the line, or 10 years down the line, or 15 years down the line, they don't have to come back to the Quorum Court and ask for a bump again.
But if we do this and raise after the public comment, and if we raise it to $100, and every lot will be assessed $100 each year.
That is correct.
That will go into this fund.
That's correct.
And they can build the fund up to $100,000 at any one time.
That is my understanding.
And if they spend some of that, then they can rebuild it to $100,000. But that's a tax cycle. The money's collected.
We collect the money
on the tax
assessor.
Our
collector. The collector collects the money.
Okay, I'm just trying to understand.
Yeah, me too. This is SSDs are an interesting subset of county government that learn more about it every day.
Joe?
They get their water from where?
They have their own water system. They pump it out of a well into a,
Out of well.
and they have a water system into a tank.
Don?
How many lots do you have on that land?
Oh,
That people actually live on one?
more than 100 and less than 150, as I understand it. Glendale Heights is one of the older neighborhoods out there on Glendale Road. There's a number of other SSDs out there.
Any more discussion? Call for the vote.
Mr. Blackburn, absent Mr. Flake,
Yes.
Mr. Graham,
Yes.
Mr. Howerton,
Yes.
Mr. McNeely,
Yes.
Mr. Mills,
Yes.
Mr. Mumma,
Yes.
Mr. Reed,
Yes.
Mr. Ritchie,
Yes.
Mr. Stofford.
Yes.
Thank you.
Passed. One, we believe. Good morning, Judge Crowe. The next item on new business, under B, would you read that, Mr. Jamie, please?
Being enacted by the Quorum.
Just a second, Jamie.
Yes, sir.
I think in light of the absences today, we're going to withdraw the next two items of new business and just table them for next month,
Okay.
B and C. Or, yeah,
We need to vote on that.
no.
He just, Ron was our sponsor, so we're just gonna withdraw till next month, correct?
Right.
Well, that takes us down to Jason's comments, another agenda item. Ron?
I have some comments. Jamie received some information from an outfit called Check Plus Systems, which is a collection agency that works all over the country, and they work for numerous cities and counties and private people. But it's the kind of thing we talked about once before about hiring somebody to collect the debts to the county. And they do it on a contingent basis. They say their fees are normally about 25% of what they collect. And I think it's something we might look at. I know the sheriff and Ramona have a good program going on collecting on warrants and old costs now, but there will be some of those that they can't collect and that get put away and that are very old. We might think about turning those type of things over to a company like this, ones that we can't work through our normal system, and let them collect it if they can, or not collect it. But if they collect it, it's great. It's money that we wouldn't have otherwise. And we do have a lot of money out there in old debts to the county. And this would be a way of doing it without any additional expense. Now, I'd want to do some more research, but it's the letter is interesting, and anybody who wants a copy, Jamie has copies of this. The letter came to her. I'm sure they're contacting a lot of government entities on it. I think I mentioned before that in a city I worked for in Texas, we had lots of old traffic warrants and fines, some of them 20, 25 years old, and the police officers were busy and weren't real interested in trying to collect this, and so nobody in the department did it. The city didn't have people in the collection business. We hired a certified law officer, put him on a salary of half of what he collected, and he collected so much money that all the other police officers started coming in wanting to get in on this program. They were jealous because he was making somewhere between $10,000 and $20,000 a month collecting what they all said and everybody felt was largely uncollectible. And this is a similar type thing. They say that they'll collect bad checks, they'll collect fees, fines, taxes, any other debt to the county. I would just like to say, well, I'm going to talk to Jamie some more, and I may, if we can get more details on this, we may put it on the agenda for next month to look at hiring somebody like this to do it. That's one thing. The other thing I have, and this is from Jamie also, an outfit called Insight contacted Jamie about reviewing and assisting us with our telephone bills and contracts. Now, in looking at our current year's budget on telephone bills, almost every department is out of budget on the telephone bills. The bills have been higher than anticipated, higher than budgeted, and we are out of our budget for the whole county on our telephone bills. And we've got several months to go in this year, and we've already spent the money that we budgeted for that. They don't charge us anything except what they can, a percentage or a portion of what they can save. And they will come in and check all of our communications billings. And they'll go through the billings, they'll go through our contracts. They will help us if we are overpaying, if we're buying more services than we need. Our telephone contracts are pretty confusing and expensive right now, and this is another opportunity to maybe save some money on phone bills. If you look at the budget detail report for the county judge's office, he's still got $819 left, but he's used 86% of his annual telephone budget.
Can I make a statement to that?
Sure.
I've been being charged for 800 numbers for about 3 different offices. That's why I'm over.
Well, and that's what I'm saying, Sam. We've got our telephone system is messed up, and you're better than anybody. You're the best department we have. The county clerk's office.
Maybe I thought it quick.
The county clerk's office is already $1.68 over their total budget. $1.68.
Would this be going to a different provider, or these
No.
people would come in, keep the same provider, but they would look?
And what it is this company's been in business for over 12 years, and this gentleman will even come and explain. We, for free, can go back 6 months, and she reviews our bills, every department. Now, I don't want everybody thinking that they may find an error where I'm going to receive some money. I think Judge Barr may, because they've been going back and forth on 800 numbers to him. But what happens is she goes back, and any money she can recover is where she gets the percentage. Now, after that, she'll look at the bills and tell us if we're getting charged by a third party. If there's something that we don't need, but they're charging for us, she'll help us get that lined out. She don't get no more money after that. It's just recovery. Not saying we may not even get none, but I have a funny suspicion possibly the sheriff's department,
Same.
judge's department. I believe there are some departments that she can recover some money for.
So we wouldn't be changing providers. There wouldn't be any initial startup cost to do something like this.
No.
They would get